H.G.Wells is popular for his science fiction novels, and he is called the father of science fiction. And he came out with his first novel in 1895. The Time Machine was produced by him in 1895. And it was followed by his next science fiction called The Island of Dr. Muriu. It was produced in 1896. And the third science fiction novel was The Invisible Man. It was produced in 1897. And the next science fiction was produced in 1898. And it was called The War of the Worlds. And in 1899, he came out with his next science fiction called When the Sleeper Wakes. H.G.Wells is not only a writer of science fiction, he also produced social novels. And we now come to find the social novels written by H.G.Wells. And we begin with his novel, Love and Mr. Levisham. It was produced by him in 1899. And it was his first fictional writing outside the science fiction. And this novel has got a subtitle also, The Story of a Very Young Couple. The subtitle for the novel, Love and Mr. Levisham. Levisham is the protagonist of the novel. And the novel is titled Love and Mr. Levisham. And it was the first social novel produced by H.G.Wells. And it was subtitled The Story of a Very Young Couple. And at the beginning of the novel, we come to find Levisham, a young man, only 18 years old, working in a boys' school in Sussex. And he falls in love with a young girl named Ethel Henderson. Levisham falls in love with a young lady named Ethel Henderson. Actually, the novel is subtitled The Story of a Very Young Couple. And the protagonist, Levisham, is only 18 years old. And he had been working in a boys' school in Sussex. And he falls in love with a girl named Ethel Henderson. But the love does not become fulfilled. And Levisham loses his job also. After 2.5 years, now Levisham is 20.5 years old. Levisham returns and meets his sweetheart, his childhood playmate, Ethel Henderson, at a seance. And she is there attending a seance. Actually, the invocation of the spirits. And she had been brought there by her uncle, a manipulating uncle, a fraudulent uncle named Mr. Chafferi. And Chafferi has brought her to attend a seance. Seance is a place where the spirits are invoked. The people are made to communicate with the dead spirits. And it is actually a black magic. And the people are brought under the black magic. And they are found losing their consciousness also. And she is under the captivity of Mr. Chafferi, and she is made to attend seance. Levisham releases her from the custody of her uncle and gets married with her. And by doing so, he sacrificed his scientific career, and his political career also becomes sacrificed. When he gets into marriage with Ethel Henderson, so he loses his scientific career and political career, but anyhow he is happy to lead a married life. And he looks after the mother of Ethel Henderson, and a child was also born to them. And it is actually the story of a very young couple. Therefore, the subtitle, The Story of a Very Young Couple, is very significant. And this novel was produced by H.G.Wells in 1899. So it was in the same year he produced the science fiction When the Sleeper Wakes. And after the novel, When the Sleeper Wakes, he started writing social novels. He wrote a number of social novels. And Wells was also a member of the Fabian Society organized by George Bernard Shaw. He also became a member of the Fabian Society. Say from 1903 to 1908, he continued to work in the Fabian Socialist group. And he was also a friend of George Bernard Shaw. And while working with the Fabians, he produced a social novel called a Modern Utopia. Actually, Utopia is an imaginative land, and it is produced by Thomas More. Thomas More produced the Utopia, and from that time onwards, Ethiopia has been considered as an imaginative land where all people are equal. A socialist country, Ethiopia, and this is Modern Utopia. And the narrator is actually called the owner of a voice. And he has not been given a name, he is called the owner of the voice. And he has got a companion also, and the companion is a botanist. And they come to learn that everything in the earth exists in duplicate in Ethiopia. And they are found living in Ethiopia, and they identify that everything in Ethiopia has got a duplicate. And the modern Ethiopia is ruled by samurai. The king is samurai in modern Ethiopia. And the botanist lover has also a duplicate. And they come to identify that they have their duplicates in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not only a land of equality, but in Ethiopia there are the duplicates also. Every person has got his duplicate. So the narrator has got his duplicate. And the friend of the narrator is a botanist. And the botanist also has got his duplicate. And the botanist identifies that his lover has also got a duplicate. And the narrator has also got a duplicate in the modern Ethiopia. And the modern Utopia was produced by him in 1905. And in the same year, he produced another social novel called Kipps, K-I-P-P-S, Kipps. The story of a simple soul, it has been subtitled. The story of a simple soul. H.G.Wells started writing social novels, and the first novel in the group of social novels is Love and Mr Levisham. And the next novel is called Modern Utopia. It has got some scientific leaning also. Anyhow, each person in Ethiopia has got his duplicate, and Ethiopia has been ruled by a king called Samurai. And the narrator has got a friend unnamed, and who is also a botanist in the place. And he has been in love, and they come to identify that everyone in Ethiopia has got a duplicate. The botanist lover has got a duplicate. The botanist has also got a duplicate, and the narrator also has got an alter ego or duplicate. So the confusions take place because the duplicates are also there. And the third social novel produced by H.G.Wells is called Kipps, and it is subtitled The Story of a Simple Soul. And the protagonist is called Arthur or R.T. Kipps, an illegitimate orphan. And this novel is written as a Bildungsroman, the birth, growth and maturity of a person. And in book 1, there are 3 books. In book 1, Kipps, R.T. Kipps or Arthur Kipps tries many attempts for a livelihood, and he is an orphan. He tries many attempts for maintaining a livelihood.